Good morning. Welcome to Common Coffee. I'm Kurt Caraway. This morning we're going to be talking to some folks from the solar store about renewable energy. Right now we're going to take a short break for a word from our sponsor.
The Carson Mall has excellent services. All this and more at the Carson Mall.
And we're back, and we're talking with Leslie Medeiros and Bob Hansen from the solar store, which is on North Carson Street. And let's see, you guys are coming up on about 5 years being open now, aren't you?
Yes, we are. We opened the doors August 1st, 2006. James, our store manager, did that. And he had a dream and a passion since he was a youngster. I can say that because I'm his mom. So this is a small family-owned business. Dennis is our engineer, ex-rocket scientist, and I'm the jack of all trades, and James is our passionate solar expert. And we've recently been able to get Bob Hansen to join us as the Director of Sales and Marketing, so we're very excited about that.
All right. I mean, and you know, people drive by there. I love that when you put the little array out there, the little solar water heater thing, and you know,
Right.
that thing's pumping out steam even as you know,
Even
10
in
degrees.
winter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Bring
yes.
them pump out. I mean, we have lots of sunshine here, so obviously this is a good area for solar power.
Well, one of the things that I like to remark on is if we remember the parable about the servant who was given a talent and buried it in the ground. Here in Nevada, we were given two very specific and generous talents. And one of them was 300 days of sunshine a year, and the other was wind. And shame on us if we don't utilize them. We were given that gift. And not all the other states that are in the United States really have that gift. So we feel that we need to use it as much as is reasonable and certainly as much as is safe. So we basically consult, design, and install systems that involve photovoltaics, which are connected to the utility and off-grid like ranchers and farmers. We sell solar hot water systems for the heating of hot water using the sun. And we also are dealers for three very competitive wind turbines, small, medium, and large, I like to call it. So we do all that. And
Well, Bob, I mean, if you know, for somebody who's thinking, well, maybe a solar system might be good for my house, what's something you would approach, you know, somebody just thinking about doing?
Well, we'd send our surveyor out, James, to do a complete survey on the house and come up with the amount of kilowatts needed to run that particular house, because all houses are different. They leak, they are, or maybe they're sealed, and they're very efficient.
Face the wrong way.
Right. So we can look at the power bills, and we can assess the house, and come up with a demand from that.
The one thing I thought was interesting was that, you you see a lot of the photovoltaic panels, but actually the hot water systems seem to be very, very efficient and can help quite a bit. Isn't that right?
Yeah, hot water is actually your biggest bang for your buck, because you can save the most energy, collect the most energy on a solar panel for hot water, and reduce. If you have, for instance, if you heat your hot water with electricity, you can reduce your electrical bill considerably by going to solar hot water.
Okay,
or
we're going
by
to
propane, too.
Yeah, we're going to take a short break right now.
Okay.
Come right back after a word from our sponsor.
The Carson Mall has exciting shopping. All this and more at the Carson Mall.
We're back talking with Leslie and Bob about solar power and also wind power. I mean, you talked about there's some wind turbines, and you're looking outside today. I think we could power the entire country with our wind today. So, but wind turbines can be kind of controversial. There's been some stories about if you're in the neighborhood and you got a wind turbine up, it can make some noise. But I mean, there's lots of different options for these, right?
Yes, there's different options, and also we have to be reasonable. We have to be respectful of safety issues. Different zoning codes are in place and or getting in place. Some of them are unreasonable, which is against a Nevada revised statute, which talks about particularly wind energy not being prohibited by these ordinances and so on. But I'm not going to get into the details of that, other than we are currently in a controversial situation for a client in the Shills Ranch area that is wanting to put a wind turbine on his 2.5 acres, and there are some difficulties with the code. So that is going to be coming up very shortly at the Board of Supervisors meeting. So that's been a big deal for us. And we do want to be respectful of the others around his property, but on the same token, we have to move forward. And if we can reduce our dependence on foreign oil, whichever way we need to do that, by depending on the sun or wind, then we must do it. Just think of the disaster if the Suez Canal gets closed by Egypt. The price of our oil will go up hugely, and when people are paying $5 a gallon and $6 and maybe $10 a gallon, I think they're going to pay a lot of attention to renewables. So,
and there's a lot of, there's electric cars, the new Chevy
Yes.
Bolt that's now plug-in thing that is great, the Nissan Leaf, these, a bunch of other electric cars are coming
Yes.
out, and I mean, if you're, most of your trips are 20 miles or less, just around town, you can go back and plug in, you never even have to burn a drop of oil. I mean, that's a kind of an amazing little step forward. And if you have electric, power generation via wind or via solar at home, then obviously you can charge the car and you're off and running, right?
Right,
Yes.
right. One of our clients that put in a wind turbine in Washoe last year has plans of charging his electric car with the energy created by the wind turbine in the future. So he's really thought about it, and we're real pleased with that. But it's not for everybody, and we do try, as Bob said, during our site surveys to determine whether this family, this homeowner, is a good candidate. Businesses are excellent candidates for the use of renewables because usually they have more land, they're in industrial zoning, and so on. And this year, the NV Energy has come out with a program for solar hot water, which is very exciting. There wasn't one before now, but it is based on the production of heat, British thermal units, BTUs, and they have to be certified by the energy before they'll give this rebate. So there are things available. I do want to encourage everybody that's interested in renewables to please pay attention to what's coming on in the legislature, because legislature is now in session.
Yeah, so when a house tries to get, a homeowner wants to get a little bit of payback, in terms of, there's a lot of upfront investment in these systems, but they eventually can pay themselves off. It's how many years does it usually run before, they can recoup some of their investment? Is that?
I'm going to give you a wide range because that's a very generic question. I would say 4 to 16 years, depending on which renewable you're using and how much your system is, how big is your system, because there's no cookie cutter answer for everybody. It's very individual based on the home.
Every house is different,
Yeah, so, okay. Well, hey, I'm glad that you guys came on to talk to us about this, and thank you for tuning in to Our Town at Common Coffee. We will catch you next time.
The Carson Mall has fantastic food. All this and more at the Carson Mall.